So now comes probably the most fun part of all. Food, glorious food. And I have to start by saying I love food and I love eating. When I was 22, I weighed about 92 kilos. So you certainly don't get to be that size if you don't love eating quite a lot. And I think one of the reasons that I love low carb eating so much is because it really is delicious. And you have to have a way of eating that is delicious if you're going to do it for life. And that is what I would love to share with you now in the first 2 weeks. And hopefully you will really enjoy it as well, so that it's not going to feel like you're on a diet. That's the problem, I think, when we try different things, and there's so much information out there, isn't there, about different strategies, things to try, and do this and do that, and it's all about calories. There's so much conflicting information. And what I want to share with you is just the fact that I've been following low carb now for all these years. I know it works. I've done this as a nutritionist for 10 years, and I've seen a heck of a lot of people achieve amazing results. And I know that it works. One of the arguments against low carb, and you may have read this, where people will swear till they're black and blue that it's not about carbs, or fat or protein, it's all about calories. Well, that could be part of it as well, and that's the reason why you do have a suggested portion size as part of this plan. But at the end of the day, controlling calories is one thing, being hungry is quite another. And the real reason that I love low carb eating so much is that because you're eating a nice portion of healthy fats with your meal, you stay full, you don't get hungry, and that is really, really important. So I'm just going to quickly talk a little bit about the science without getting too technical, but just a little bit about the base reasons of why low carb is so effective. Then I'm just going to talk through, with a bit of more detail, the information that's included already in this folder about your food plan, the meal options, and hopefully that'll help you understand not just what you're going to eat, but why I'm making the suggestions that I am. And at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is understanding that weight loss and weight management is not about eating less. It's about eating the right thing. It's what you eat. I believe that is the most important thing, closely followed by how much you eat. Now, of course, if you're losing weight and getting smaller, you're not going to need to eat as much as you did when you were a bigger person, unless you're very active or doing a heck of a lot of exercise. So yes, portion size does matter, but what matters most is where your calories are coming from. And it comes down to our good old friend, the fat. What stored fat is stored energy, as I said in my introduction video. This is stored energy that your body's saving to use in a future time if it's needed. So the reason that low carb works so well is what we're doing is limiting that massive food group that provides so much energy, which are carbohydrates. Now, don't get me wrong, carbohydrates are great for us, right? We need energy. I'm not saying this is a radical no carb plan. It would be quite impossible, or certainly very restrictive, to eat that way. And carbohydrate foods are a brilliant source of energy for teenagers, anyone who needs energy. Of course, it's great, but the situation that we're in when we want to lose weight is that we actually have a lot of stored energy, and this is what we want to use to fuel ourselves. We don't want to keep eating high energy foods. So you'll see with the food guide that's included, we have the three main food groups. Protein, which is mostly meat and dairy and seafood. Then you've got fats, which are foods like oils, nuts, nut butters, high-fat dairy. That's a big food group. Then we have the very big group, which is carbohydrates. Now, all vegetables are mostly carbohydrate, so they're included as well, but they're very low in carbohydrate, which is why I encourage people to eat as many veggies as you want, except the more starchier vegetables, which is what you'll see on the food guide. But each of these groups has a different role within your body. So protein, you must have protein with every meal. Protein fuels your metabolism. It runs your immune system. It's so important for your muscles, for your hair, for your nails. Protein's absolutely essential. Those amino acids that are contained within protein are the building blocks of our cells and our metabolism. So protein's really important. You'll see on the food plan that I'm suggesting a serving size of around 100 grams, which is roughly the size of your palm for lunch, and a size of 120 grams, or about sort of your palm up to the middle of your fingers. That would be your dinner size, and you'll see all of that in your food plan. In terms of fats, what I've done is I've listed a whole list of serving options, and then you just choose which ones you like to include with your meal. Then carbohydrates, I'm suggesting you get most of your carbohydrates from vegetables. Okay, but there are also some really handy low carb products out there that you can also add in, which you'll see in the guide. Things like low carb wraps, bread, there's low carb pancake mixes. There are a lot of products out there now that make eating low carb really easy. Now, in terms of a little bit about the science behind that, the reason that we want to lower carbohydrates is because carbohydrates give a lot of energy, as I've said, and in the form of sugar, glucose. When you eat a product that's high in carbohydrate, it turns to sugar within your bloodstream, and that sugar is something your body needs to use and get rid of fast, because the human body doesn't really like a high level of sugar. They think that there's only about 5 grams or 1 teaspoon of sugar within our entire blood system. So when you eat something really high in carbs, like for example, a honey sandwich or even a salad sandwich, what that does is especially the bread will turn to sugar quite quickly in your blood. Now, when that happens, your body produces insulin. So insulin helps control your blood sugar levels. So we eat carbs, your body, your pancreas actually secretes insulin, and insulin's job is to get that sugar out of your blood and into the cells where your body can use it. Insulin is also a key trigger in terms of fat storage, because if your body's got a lot of insulin, your body knows, well, there must be lots of energy here. So it's sort of a trigger that your body's fat cells can stay where they are. Because if your body's got lots of energy, it knows that it doesn't need to burn this. So insulin is a key hormone that helps communicate to your body whether, it needs to store fat or burn it. So you can really help control your insulin levels through controlling your carbohydrate intake. And that is why low carb eating is so effective, because when you lower the level of carbohydrate, you lower the level of insulin in your system and you keep your blood sugar levels stable. That's really important. So as you'll see from the guidelines, the key sort of rules I would be suggesting is just eat 3 meals a day and have a snack if you're hungry. Now, if you're really hungry one day, feel free to increase those portion sizes. Have a bit more protein, have a bit more fat if you need to. We're not robots, and a plan is not going to be 100% applicable every day. I just hope you can stick to those guidelines that I've outlined as often as possible. It's really important that if you're not hungry, don't just eat a snack for the sake of it, okay? Only have a snack if you are hungry. What's really important is that every meal has protein and fat. Protein fuels your body, fat keeps you full and will help keep you satiated from one meal to the next. And you'll see all of this included in that food plan guideline that's included here. Now, you'll also find my meal option planner that's got lots of different ideas, lots of recipes that are all included in the recipe guide. And of course, remember that if you're local and you live up on the coast or even on the North Shore, the most exciting thing is that Keto by D, which is based in Orewa, Delana, who owns that, is making a lot of beautiful meals which are going to be included within our calorie and protein guidelines, so you can eat those meals as well. So she's got the 2 options, well 3 actually. She's got some breakfast options, lunch and dinner. So please, if you're local, support her and make the most of having these easy options, because gosh, her food is absolutely delicious. If you're not local, I encourage you to look at your local cafes. You may find that they are doing some low carb options or keto options. Keto just means very low carb, and all keto food is totally doable within a low carb eating plan. So I hope that as you look through the guide, it's all really clear. Any questions, let me know. We can talk about it on Facebook, and bon appetit.